A year ago, Xavier learns that his resurrected friend, Moira McTaggart, is a mutant with the power to hide her X gene and reset the timeline upon death, and resurrect herself with the knowledge and capabilities of all her previous lives. Moira reveals that in all her previous lifelines, mutants always lose. Xavier shares Moira's memories and plans with Magneto, and the three work together to improve Krakoa's consciousness. They hide Moira for her safety, and then Xavier reveals Krakoa to the world, inviting mutants to join them and live in a sanctuary on the island. To assist in communication with the sentient island, together, Cypher and Krakoa invented the Krakoan alphabet and a Krakoan language they both could read, understand, and speak. Next, to establish the first mutant culture and set it apart from the cultures of humankind, it was decided that all citizens of Krakoa would be taught the language as well. Thus, upon arriving for the first time on the mutant island of Krakoa through one of the mutant teleportation gateways grown from the flowers of Krakoa, a resident telepath will imprint the Krakoan language onto the mind of the newly arrived mutant. Once this is done, that mutant is capable of reading, speaking, and fully understanding the Krakoan language. While Krakoan was created to be mutantdom's first autochthonous language, it is important to note that Krakoan is a manufactured language and not the native language of Krakoa, the living mutant island itself. The language of Krakoa is untranslatable, and all human and mutant brains are incapable of comprehending it. Besides Cypher, there is only one other mutant on the entire planet that can speak the island's ancient language. 4 months ago, the flowers of Krakoa are used to aid mutants in relocating to various places across the Earth, including the Savage Land, the Blue Area of the Moon, and Mars. Today, 2 days after the first resurrection ceremony, Magneto and Professor X observe a garden of Krakoan gateways. Standing between them and the gateways, Wolverine waits pensively.
Incoming, Professor.
6 villainous mutants come through one gateway. 7 villainous mutants through another. Heeding Professor X's telepathic call, friends and foes alike have relocated to Krakoa.
Krakoa.
Even Apocalypse. Surprisingly, his Krakoan gateway shines the brightest.
Yes. Yes, I know, old friend. It's been far too long.
The birds of Krakoa sing and fly around Apocalypse.
Krakoa knows me, and I, Krakoa. I fought a war here before the world had any idea there was such a thing as mutants.
Apocalypse looks around the assembly of mutants and tries to hold back his smile.
For centuries, I have fostered war and conflict, all in the hopes of mutantdom finally asserting dominance over this world. Now look at you. Look at all of you. You have finally become what I intended you to be. I could not be more proud.
Be that as it may, we need to hear the words, Apocalypse.
We submit to the laws of this land, be whatever they may, and acknowledge that from this day forward, we all serve a higher purpose than want or need.
He bows his head, and the other villainous mutants do the same.
One people from this day forward.
Under the urging of Apocalypse, to achieve their goal of a united mutant nation, Xavier and Magneto made deals with several powerful and influential mutants, like Prince Namor and Emma Frost of the Hellfire Trading Company, offering them a seat on the 12-person governing body of Krakoa in exchange for their cooperation and loyalty. Distributed across 4 different tables, the Quiet Council was formed by the Autumn Table, the traditional leaders of mutant-kind, the 3 greatest traditional and historical heads of mutant society, Professor Xavier, Magneto, and Apocalypse. The Spring Table, the Black King and the White Queen of the Hellfire Trading Company, tasked with the economic transactions concerning the Krakoan medicines, Sebastian Shaw, Emma Frost, and a yet unfilled seat for Red King or Red Queen. The Winter Table, representing the more zealous, radical, and morally ambiguous elements of mutant society, the leaders of the usually extremist and terrorist initiatives, Mystique, Exodus, and the traitorous Mr. Sinister. And lastly, the Summer Table, the tender-hearted and faithful former members of the X-Men, the most empathetic, level-headed, and just members of mutant-kind. Nightcrawler, Jean Grey, and Storm. Complementing the Quiet Council's configuration, Krakoa itself supervised their discussions, being translated by the linguist Cypher. Tonight, the Quiet Council's first order of business: judgment. Due to his violent nature, repeated and long-time disregard for life, and resistance to following Magneto's orders on a previous mission to damage control, Victor Creed, aka Sabretooth, was to be brought in for sentencing. But before they could do so, the Quiet Council needed to set new laws, the laws of mutants, so that mutants, or Krakoans as Professor X prefers they all be called, would no longer fall under the authority of humanity. And after a heated debate, the Quiet Council established the nation's first laws. Make more mutants. Murder no human. Respect this sacred living land. For having broken the second rule on the previous mission to damage control, Sabretooth was brought before the Quiet Council and quickly sentenced to the pit of exile. Deep inside Krakoa itself, Sabretooth would be kept in a form of stasis. He would be alive, but immobile, aware, but unable to act on it, indefinitely. And with that cold justice served, Magneto, Professor X, Storm, and the other members of the Quiet Council take their leave and join all the citizens of Krakoa in celebration. Celebration of their new nation. And so began the age of Krakoa.